Finding the right motorcycle helmet and one that fits properly can be a time-consuming matter. This week on MCrider, we'll talk about helmet fit and some tips to make sure the helmet you currently have is the right one for you. For the conversation in this video, I'm going to focus on full-face helmets. Full-face helmets offer the rider the best protection, and it's the most important piece of safety gear that you can wear as a rider. That's all I ever ride with, unless I'm out on a training range or practicing at very slow speed. Sometimes I'll wear something that gets a little more airflow. But for that reason, full-face helmet is what we're going to talk about in this video, and a helmet is not something that I personally compromise on. I don't really have too much of an issue with modular helmets, the type, that flip up in the front, so the whole thing flips up in the front. I've just never really had a need for a modular helmet, though some people who ride with glasses really like modular helmets because it makes it easier to get your glasses on and off. Just make sure that it's down and locked, so you don't want to ride with it in the up position. It's designed to be ridden with it in the down position. And that's going to give you the most protection. If you ride it in the up position, you're really compromising your safety, and it's not designed to be ridden with it in that manner. But finding the right helmet for you is a matter of getting the right shape, size, and fit. And if you get the shape, size, and fit right, you can wear a helmet all day with no discomfort. If you don't get the shape, size, and fit right, it can quickly become a torture device and one that you can't wait to get off of your head. So let's talk about those three things, and we'll look at some ideas to help you find the right shape and size for you. So first, let's start with shape. A lot of new riders are surprised to learn that helmets come in a variety of different internal shapes. The outside of the helmet may look relatively similar, but the internal shape of the helmet is different depending on the model. There are three basic helmet shapes. There's a long oval, an intermediate oval, and a round oval. So figuring out which of these best describes you is critical to finding the right helmet and something that you can live with. First, there's the long oval. It's shaped for a head which is longer front to back. From forehead to the back of the skull is longer than from side to side. There's an intermediate oval. It's shaped for a head which is slightly longer front to back than it is side to side. So it's a little bit longer here than side to side. Most motorcycle helmets will fall into this category as it's the most common head shape, especially here in America. If the helmet does not state what shape it is, it's usually an intermediate oval. And there's also a round oval. It's shaped for a head which is almost identical front to back as it is side to side. So it's a rounder type head shape. So your first mission in finding the right helmet is determining what the shape of your head is. You can take measurements of it, or maybe snap a picture or something from above, or ask a friend, or even better, go to a reputable shop and ask them to help determine the shape of your head and which helmets might best fit you. Now, I know it seems a little weird to ask somebody about the shape of your head, but you only have to do this once, and then for the rest of your life, you'll know what shape of helmet you need to look for. But once that shape is determined, then you can start looking at all the helmets that fit into this category for you. One of the best resources I know for finding the helmets of a particular shape is on Revzilla. You can go to mcrider.com/new helmet. If you purchase with that link, then MCrider will get a small commission on that. And that link will forward you directly to Revzilla's helmet section. And you can even sort the helmets by head shape on that page. So if you're like me and you're an intermediate oval, you can just click that button and sort all the helmets by that head shape to see what's available for you. Before you order a helmet, though, you need to know what size helmet you need. And this is one area where a lot of new riders make mistakes. New riders will try on various helmets, and often they purchase a helmet that's too big. A new helmet should be tight. You don't want it overly uncomfortable, and you don't want any hot spots or pressure points in particular spots on your head. And that way, after several hours, that the helmet can break in for you and provide a perfect fit. But you want that tightness. You want it, all over, that really snug fit. And if a helmet's too large, it's still going to break in, and after a few days of wearing it, your helmet wants to move or shift around in the wind out on the road. The best way to determine the size of helmet that you need is with a cloth tape measure. So you start with the tape measure right here, just right above your eyebrows, run it around your head, at the thickest part of your head, bring it back around to the front and get that measurement. This is usually done, right above the ears here and right above the eyebrows. You can use that measurement then and use this chart to determine the proper size helmet. If you know what size hat that you wear, a fitted hat, you can also use that to help you determine a properly sized helmet. And that's also in this chart right here that you can get that information from. So once you've got the shape of the helmet and you've got the size of the helmet, then it's a matter of fitting. So we take our head shape and the proper size and we shop for helmets in that group that provide a proper fit. And that's where you probably need to try a few on. Sometimes you hit a home run on your first swing at finding the proper fit, and sometimes it takes a little trial and error to get the right fit for you. But what you're looking for is that helmet that feels very snug. I kind of like mine really tight when I initially buy it. Without, you want consistent pressure all over your head, but no pressure points like we talked about earlier, no hot spots or areas where the helmet feels especially tight or painful. If you put the helmet on and you can easily slide a finger between your helmet and the liner, that helmet's too big. If you put the helmet on and you rotate your head side to side and you can feel the helmet sliding around on your head, or if you grab the chin bar and you can turn it easily on your head, that helmet's too big for you. Finding the right fit's important because it will help determine how well that helmet protects you. You don't want it moving around in the event of a crash. And it determines how long you can wear that helmet in comfort during the day. If you plan on touring or riding a good portion of the day, having a helmet that fits right is mandatory. Helmets also come in all different price ranges, so a few quick comments on that. What do you get for spending more money on a helmet? What's the difference between a really expensive premium helmet and something that's a little easier on the budget? Well, from a practical standpoint, it usually comes down to weight of the helmet and comfort. The lighter the helmet is, the more comfortable that helmet will be to wear all day. It just costs more to produce a helmet that's lightweight and still meets all the highest safety standards. Also, another way that some manufacturers save money is the size of the outer shell. So they might only produce 1 or 2 outer shell sizes, and then they use the internal foam on the helmet to fit it to the various sizes that people would want to ride with. So if you wear a small helmet, you may end up with a large shell, and they just use that inside foam to help make it fit on your head. Where more expensive helmets will have various shell sizes, so they have different molds for different sizes. And so a small helmet's got a smaller outer shell, and they can have consistency on the internal lining and the internal foam on the helmets. It'll also have materials in the lining that are more comfortable to the skin and yet are going to provide years of service. But a less expensive helmet that meets Snell or ECE standards will also offer the same general protection as a more expensive helmet that meets those same standards. So you don't have to sacrifice your safety if the budget that you've got doesn't fit a more expensive helmet. What helmet works for me and what do I use most often? Well, I've got a clear favorite when it comes to helmets. I like Shoei helmets. They're on the more expensive side. They're anywhere from $400 to mid-$600 in price range, depending on the model and colors that you get. I like Shoei because they're top quality helmets, and experience has told me that I can pick any large Shoei helmet and I'll get a helmet that fits me properly and offers great protection. But helmets are also a personal choice, from the type of helmet you wear to the brand, to the color and the style, to the fit of the helmet. You'll need to find the right helmet for you. Now, I've never been one to chastise someone for not wearing a helmet or the type of helmet that they choose to wear. But if I'm asked for my opinion on the subject, I'm more than happy to share that also. And since you're here watching this video on MCrider, I assume that you came here looking for my opinion on the subject. A helmet is the single most important piece of riding gear that you can have. It may literally be the difference between life or death in a crash. If I'm out riding in traffic, I've got a full face helmet on my head. It's a fundamental piece of being a well-rounded, smart rider. Till next week, guys, it's Kevin with MCrider, and I'll see you on the road.